Hello, my name is Joe, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Hades.
Hey, how you doing?
We've all seen Disney's Hercules, the animated movie about the Greek god Hercules who must save the world from the dastardly Hades.
How sentimental. You know, I haven't been this choked up since I got a hunk of moussaka caught in my throat. Huh?
This movie depicted Hades as a god filled with nothing but evil and hatred. Although Hades was the darkest god, he wasn't completely evil. He just simply was given a role that he didn't particularly want. Hades may be bitter, but not completely evil. Hades has become one of the most widely known Greek gods through his origin, life story, and current influence on Greek mythology. Knowing about all of these aspects and how it actually came to be what it is today will give better insight on the villainous god. The knowledge will also clear up what most people think to be true about him. I will be informing you on exactly these points. His birth and his early life before becoming ruler of the underworld, his duties as god of such, and what he's done, and how he has influenced Greek mythology and Greek culture. First off, let's move on to how Hades came to be, and what went on before he came in possession of the underworld and god of it. So Hades, along with his siblings, were born to the Titans Cronus and Rhea. His brothers are Zeus and Poseidon, while his sisters were Hera, Hestia, and Demeter. According to Miss Encyclopedia, Hades, along with his siblings, were swallowed by their father after their birth. Zeus managed to avoid this fate and trick their father into drinking a potion that would then cause him to vomit up his siblings. After they had escaped their father, they rebelled against the Titans and took over the power for the universe. Once they had it in their possession, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades discussed and drew boundaries of who would get what in what aspect of the universe. Zeus became the ruler of the sky, Poseidon became ruler of the ocean, and Hades was left with the underworld. He wasn't all too happy with what he received, but he reluctantly agreed and turned the underworld into a dreaded place. He used his powers to make the underworld what it is seen as today, creating layers and enforcing guardians to protect the underworld from those who entered without being taken by death first. Hades may not have been given the choice towards what he wanted in the universe, but he made something to be feared. Next come his actual duties as god of the underworld. The underworld consisted of two regions, Tartarus and Elysium, or the Elysian Fields, as some know it to be. Tartarus was the bottom region. It was a place shrouded by blackness, and that's where all the wicked went. There, they suffered torment for the rest of eternity. Along with mortal souls, the imprisoned also included the Titans, such as their father and their mother, who were also guarded by giants with 100 arms each. Tartarus was a place that was feared by all, and most tried to do well in their lives to avoid being sent there. Elysium is where the righteous were sent after death to live a peaceful afterlife. Before arriving to either region, however, the souls were put through trial, which was supervised by Hades. He determined who went where by their actions and how they lived their lives while still in the physical world. Along with ruling over the dead and the damned, he was also the god of the earth's hidden wealth. The hidden wealth ranged from fertile soil to the mined wealth of gold, silver, and other metals. Hades even had an effect on what we know to be the seasons. Hades' wife was Persephone, daughter of Demeter, who was the goddess of the seasons. According to Mark Cartwright, who holds an MA in Greek philosophy, Hades kidnapped Persephone to live with him in the otherworld, which enraged Demeter. Although effort was made to reunite Persephone with her mother, she was bound to Hades and was forced to stay with him a portion of each year. When she is with Hades, Demeter makes crops impossible to grow, which is what we know today as winter and fall. When Persephone is with her mother, she makes crops bountiful and able to be harvested in a full crop, and that is what we know today as spring and summer. Hades has been a big part of the world of the gods, but he has also influenced Greek culture and Greek mythology as well. Hades influenced the Greek culture in many, many ways. Of course, the main influence was to live a good, honest life, since no one wanted to be sent to Tartarus to be tortured for the rest of all eternity. Those who wished to have a peaceful, carefree afterlife did their best to live by good and grace of the gods. Though there was always those who chose to be against that and live and disgrace the gods. and live in a regrettable life. According to Britannica, Hades was depicted as stern and pitiless. Since he was the only god who did not live in Mount Olympus, he was unmoved by the prayers and sacrifices that were offered to him by the Greeks. In classic Greek art, he is often represented more as a mature man, bearded and holding a scepter, a two-pronged spear, a libation vase, or a cornucopia, symbolic of the mineral and vegetable wealth which comes from the ground. On occasion, he is seated on an ebony throne or rides a chariot pulled by black horses, often with Persephone at his side. In the Greek culture, the family members of the deceased often place a coin into the mouth of their dead or of their deceased member as payment to Charon, who was the boatman that carried the souls of the deceased against the river Styx to Hades. The unburied, or those without means to pay the boatman, were condemned to wander the earth as ghosts. This belief hints at the ambiguous nature of Hades. It was not necessarily a place of torment and suffering, but in most cases, simply the final resting place of the soul. Hades was definitely the most dark of all gods in Greek culture, but he held a heavy duty. Finally, in terms of Greek culture, Hades played an important role, just like all the other gods. After the fall and overtaking of his father Cronus, he and his brothers discussed the distribution of the universe. The underworld happened to land in Hades' lap, while his brothers received the sky and the ocean. Of course, he never truly wanted what was given to him, but he made it work. He made the underworld a place that influenced the Greeks to do well by the gods and in their life in fear of being sent to an eternity of torment. Though, if they were to live a good and honest life, they were given a peaceful, carefree afterlife. He judged the souls that were sent to him, determining where they should be sent, whether it would be Tartarus or Elysium. He was the only god to not reside in Mount Olympus, and thus was unmoved by the prayers and the sacrifices that all the Greeks had offered him. He ruled the underworld with an iron fist, and also ruled over the earth's wealth, making sure that it was not overused or it was going to waste by the greed of anybody who wished to partake in the bountiful pleasures of what the earth had to offer. So he was often depicted as stern and pitiless by the Greeks, and was pictured as a mature man with a beard who stood next to his wife Persephone. He was as respected as the Greeks. He was just as respected as all the other gods, and by the Greeks as well. He was a big influence on the lifestyle of the Greeks, like any of the other gods, and carried out his roles dutifully as ruler of the underworld.